Hi, everybody. We are here with the amazing Stephanie Bristow. Stephanie, I am totally fangirling over here because I've been following your content. I
Oh,
think you're amazing.
thank you.
You
Thank
are
you
the
so
best.
much.
Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell everybody who are you, what do you do, where do you work, so people can go immediately and go and follow you and go find
Yes.
you if they're in your area.
Yes. So I actually live in Rome, Georgia. We're a little bitty city north of Atlanta. I'm currently at a Ford store. I'm at Courtesy Ford in Rome. I've been selling cars since 2015, so almost 10 years.
Well,
Um, I've done a little bit of everything. I've done some finance. I've done desking, but I always end up back in sales. It's just my safe place, I guess. It's just what I love to do.
all right. So, what were you doing before you got into car sales in 2015?
I was in the medical field. I was actually a medical assistant. And I had some not great experiences there. And it just kind of, I was like, this is not for me. And I literally actually got the job that I had at my previous dealership as a receptionist. They hired me as a receptionist, and I moved back to BDC for about a year. And then I'm naturally, I feel like a very curious person. I love to ask questions. And so I asked so many questions for about a year that they were eventually like, look, just go do it, because the sales desk was kind of connected to the BDC. So I was always in there with the managers, like, how do they do this? And what happens if they say this and da 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 da. And so eventually they were like, just go do it. Like you have what it takes. And I was terrified when they put me on the sales floor. I was terrified. I cried, like real tears. I cried. But I always say that it was the best decision that they ever made for me because they knew better than I did that that was where I needed to be.
I really want to zoom in on that first fears. I mean, after being in the BDC, you have been experiencing rejection pretty much every minute of the day on
Hmm.
those calls, right? So it's
Yes.
like you've developed a thick skin for this already. So
Right.
when they put you on the floor, what was that? What was the main challenge of
Well,
making that switch?
I'm also a single mom. So for me, it was the stability aspect. I was terrified of like, because I always knew if you don't sell cars, you don't make money. So that was my biggest fear was this income going to be stable enough to support myself and my children? And then the hours too was really intimidating for me. Um, but I truly love what I do, and I don't feel like I'm coming to work every day. I feel like even where I'm at now, it's like a big family. So it's not a toxic environment. I feel like our management cares about us. They want us to succeed, and then our coworkers also. I mean, it's going to be competition because that's what this job is, but it's more of a friendly competition, and everyone here is very. Is there anything that you need? Can I help you with anything? Instead of you know back and forth like petty stuff. There's not as much of that, and I'm so thankful for that because this business alone is stressful enough. So to be in a toxic environment on top of that, I couldn't. I don't think I could do that.
Yeah. When you first started on the floor, what was kind of like the biggest challenge that you had in order to start really get into a groove?
Talking to customers. Believe it or not, I hated doing a fresh up. I hated walking up to somebody and just being like, hey, what you doing? Like
Right.
that was the biggest learning curve for me because in BDC I never really had to see anyone face to face. It was always on the phone, text message. I was more comfortable with that. But yeah, walking up to somebody on the lot, that took some polishing for sure. That was the hardest part for me was like actually going up and talking to a customer.
I'd love to see, like, to hear what advice you have for women who are experiencing just that right now. Like, maybe they've been in the position for a little while and they're still not comfortable going up and talking to somebody. What do you think is holding them back? What do they have to get over to do that right? Before we hear the answer to that really juicy question from our guest, I wanted to tell you how I found her, how she ended up on this video in this interview. I found her on TikTok because she had a strong presence, because she was using the right hashtags, because she knew what she was doing. And that is how your customers find you. That is how you establish your authority in the marketplace. That is how car salespeople make their mark and take control of their careers, by being online. And you need to be on TikTok if you're not already. My name is Ina. I'm the AutoSocial Gal, and I'm a social media strategist for car salespeople, for car dealerships, and I have helped hundreds of people with their online presence over the past decade. And now, for the first time ever, I have created a Mastering TikTok for Car Sales course that you can have right now and learn everything I know about how to show up on TikTok, attract your right customers, and also make the experience be right for you. It doesn't have to be silly dances. It doesn't have to be complicated scripts or skits. It can be whatever you want it to be. And in this course, I really put everything that I know so that you can have the kind of presence that is going to make you go from unknown to unforgettable, so that people want to drive 2 hours out of their way to come and buy cars from you. I have you with the list of equipment that you need, with all of the TikTok features. I am going to show you exactly around the app. I'm going to show you how to simplify the analytics process. You don't have to know everything right off the bat to be successful. I'm going to show you how to stand out with your unique personality. I'm going to show you the viral examples so that they inspire you and you know exactly what to post, and so much more. And all of this can be yours right now. And I want to give you a very special $15 off code. The price of the course is going to keep changing. I just put this out there, and the price is going to continue to increase. So don't rest thinking that the price is going to stay the same, and grab this code right here for your $15 off, no matter what the price of the course is. Just code this QR code, take a picture of this QR code, or go to autosocialgal.com/TT for TikTok, get it? And use the code YTGals, that stands for YouTube Gals, so that I know you came from this video and you're coming from here. It's all in that QR code. If you go to autosocialgal.com/TT, it already has the code baked into it, and you can go and grab it right now, because I want to see you on TikTok so that I can go and invite you to be on this YouTube channel, elevate your authority, and inspire others. All right, now let's go back to the interview.
Fear. I think they fear that they are going to look crazy, or that they're going to look stupid or dumb. But the reality is that the customer wants you to talk to them, especially if they're physically on your lot. That's what they're there for. They're there for and I'm very relationship based in my selling. I prefer to make it an experience as opposed to a transaction. So when you are able to look at your customers and your deals that way, it takes so much pressure off, because you're just at that point just building a relationship with them. You're not even necessarily talking to them about a vehicle. And that's where I found my sweet spot, was just going and talking to them about the day, or the car they pulled up in, or talk their kids, if their kids are out there. I make a whole conversation piece outside of the vehicle, and that kind of brings their guard down, and I feel like it makes it easier for us to do our job at that point.
Is there somebody that you can think of since 2015, somebody that was maybe in the dealership with you, who took you under their wing, or who gave you such good advice that you'd like to pass that advice on? Can you think of that person?
Absolutely. I have three people, actually.
Oh, can you name
One,
them? Can you name them
yes,
so that they
yes,
can hear this?
absolutely. So the first person his name is Scott Wayman. He works for Assurant, which used to be American Financial. He actually did our first real sales training at my previous dealership. And I'm kind of like his little golden child. He tells the story about me to every dealership that he goes to. Our first training session, I went back down to the floor and basically closed a customer on the first pencil, exactly the way that he had taught me to in that training. And then I kind of just took off from there. So he's definitely instrumental. And he has, guided me since then. And he actually, I could have gotten a job with him as a trainer after I left my last dealership, but it was too too much travel. The two others were my two sales managers at my previous dealership. One is David Williams, and the other one is Miles Johnson. And I'm still super close with both of them. And Miles specifically, I feel like he broke me down to rebuild me. So it was very tough in the beginning, and I would go home crying a lot of times and really mad at him because I felt like he treated me differently than the other salespeople, but it was because he saw the potential. He did work deals differently with me. He did make me work harder for deals than he did some. He would give the car away for some people, and I was always like, why will you do that for them, but you make me work for it? And he's like, because you can, because you have the ability. And he just really, really believed in me. And I feel like that belief bled into my own belief. And I was like, him telling me every day that you're the best salesperson on this floor, eventually I was like, yeah, I am. And then I became, the top three every single month at that dealership.
What would you say to women who are listening to you speak and they're like, I really feel like I'm being treated that way by a manager, and I do go home crying and being angry at them, and it could be a man or a woman. Like I'm getting angry at my managers. How can they make the most out of that situation? How do they reframe their mindset so that they can succeed?
So, it's such a tricky question because not all criticism is constructive, right? So, if it's a situation like me where they feel like the manager really does have their best interest at heart, but they're very tough on them, it would be to just honestly just let go of all of the thoughts that you have of yourself. And especially if this manager has tons of experience and years in this business, just let go of everything that you have, unlearn all of those thoughts, and literally just listen to them and take their advice and let it sink in and change what they say you need to change. Don't let it get you down, because nobody's perfect in this business. And I've been doing this for 10 years, and I will learn new stuff every single day. You never stop learning. And for me, I love to learn new things, and I love to see different people's perspectives. So it would be really just to let go of everything that they think about themselves, and just really let those words kind of fall over them, and don't take them defensively. Accept them more as they, because most managers really do want you to win. I mean, they don't make money if you don't make money. So they do want you to be the best that you can be. I did have problems a lot of times being defensive and not really wanting to take that criticism. But I really feel like you should do that. You should accept what they're saying to you. There's some merit to it somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. What do you think is the biggest misconception that women have as soon as they get their first sales job at a dealership? What is something that you wish they could unlearn right away because it's what they're expecting, but it's just
That they
not?
do not have to sound like the boys that are around them, especially if they're the only woman on the floor. That is such an advantage. And learning how to lean into that, and not, because it's hard when you hear a bunch of guys that are spouting off the same little word tracks and like, well, if I could do this, could you do blah, 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 like all of those, just cheesy sounds that make me cringe. If that's all that you're hearing, and I've had multiple women message me and be like, all of my guys, all the guys on the floor are giving me these word tracks and they don't sound authentic, or they're giving me a lot of guys to follow on training, but I don't like that. I need women to learn from. That would be the biggest thing, is that don't think that you have to sell like all of the boys to sell cars, because it actually benefits you more to sell like a woman.
What is the biggest lesson that you have learned in this job that many women struggle with? And that, maybe they're like not getting the right amount of support in their dealership. Maybe they're having a hard time adjusting to their teams. What is the one thing you want everybody to know?
Don't give up. This dealership, or this life, the dealership life, is the law of averages. Honestly, the cycle, right, of having a really good month and then it's over and you start right back in, again in the next month, or you had a really bad month and then it's over and you get to start new. that can mess up a lot of people mentally. But for me, it is refreshing. It's refreshing to know that I get to start over next month. Um, and a lot of time, I mean, there have been a lot of situations that have made me question, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right spot? Um, but I am, and I didn't give up in those times that I wanted to. I kept going, and I'm so glad now that I did because I've seen it a million times. Women will work three, or men, women will work 3 months in this dealership and just be like, "This is not for me." There's no way for you to know that it's not for you within 3 months,
Mhm.
if you're giving it everything that you've got. I feel like you need at least 6 months to a year to know if this is really, and it's not for everybody. I mean, that's the cold hard truth. It's really, truly not for everyone. Um, but if you feel like it is for you, you cannot give up. That would be my biggest advice. Just to keep going, keep grinding, make one more sale, and then worry about it after that.
Amazing. I love that. And now you're getting into sales training for car salespeople. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, I actually had a girl the other day that was like, all of my managers keep giving me all these guys to follow, but I really need women to learn from. And I was like, yeah, I'm your girl. And then I went to try to tag some other creators that I thought, and there really aren't any women creators out there that I know of that are offering sales training in a different type of way. I mean, there are a lot of like car business girlies out there, car sales girlies out there that are doing their content, but it's not coaching or training centered. And I feel like a lot of women sell similarly. So to get that training from a man is not necessarily the training that we need as women. And even just going into the whole relationship based training and sales coaching period, that whole thing is the future of car sales. Um, co- consumers no longer care about your word tracks. They've heard them 15 times from all of the other dealerships. They don't care about your tactics, and you're like, oh, this deal is only good today. They see through all of that. And it really is, it has become more about being authentic and being yourself. Because, I mean, every customer that comes in knows the price already, right? I mean, the internet is out there. They know what they're coming in for. So at that point, they're buying you. Like you're selling yourself at that point because every other, 15 other dealerships have the same car for the same price. So why would they buy from you instead? And I promise you, people will pay more money for a better experience. I promise they will.
100%. So, social media, congratulations on all of your success on TikTok.
Thank
Can you
you.
give us like one big tip that everybody needs to know if women want to get into social media? What is it that they need to do? What do they need to know?
They need to just not be afraid to do it. A lot of even people here, I have girls here that want to get onto social media, but they're just afraid. Stop being afraid. Your people are out there. I promise you will find, and if you're gonna find your people, you're gonna find them on TikTok. Like that, you will find your village, you will find your tribe, and just be consistent in that. It's hard for me even to be consistent in my posting, but if you can just be consistent enough to post 3 times a week, under your little, umbrella of whatever you want to post about, you will become successful on social media.
What is your favorite kind of post that you love to do?
Well, I mean, I like funny stuff. Like I'm a big jokester. So any of the fun, like I have done a voiceover from Robert De Niro from one of those movies. Those things are fun for me. But also the training videos have become probably my favorite because I've just really started letting those, flow. And they're actually to see people getting help from the objections that I overcome or the little tips and tricks that I've given is so rewarding to me. Um, Even more so, I think, than any of the other content that I post. To know that it's actually helping people, as that's why I do it. And it's like a really cool feeling to know that you're helping other girls out there become successful in this business because it will change your life. It can for sure.
Yeah. All right. So why don't you tell everybody where to go and follow you and find you and where to go buy from you?
Yes. So I have a stand storefront. I'm gonna link it in my TikTok bio. So you'll be able to click there for like one-on-one coaching sessions. My handle on everything is Stephanie Bristow XO. I'm Stephanie Bristow on Facebook. And on Instagram, I am Stephanie Bristow _XO. So just first and last name, you should be able to find me on all the platforms.
And we're going to put the links right there with this video so everybody can come find you. Stephanie, you are so lovely. It's been such a pleasure to really watch you grow and do your thing on social. So thank you so much for sharing all of this with us, spending this time with us. And we'll be sharing this with everybody. Really, thank you so much for being here.
You are so welcome. Thank you for having me. I had a blast.
Yay!